This indeed will attract attention this morning. 3 months to elections. The Daily Graphic is suggesting that the public wants to know where the manifestos, apart from the IPP and apart from some other parties, the CPP, the NDC, the NPP are yet to release their manifestos officially, even though some have suggested that bits and pieces of the manifesto are being released gradually into the public domain by some of the campaign messages they threw out. But the Daily Graphic this morning is saying that the public wants to know. Ralph, let me start with you this morning. For the CPP, 3 months to elections and the manifesto not out, how worrying is that?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying a very good morning to the flag bearer of the Convention People's Party, and then our National First Vice Chairperson, Hajia Hamdatu, for the good work that they are doing out there. We want to pray for God's protection for them, and then we are also praying that there should be a fruit for the work that they are undertaking currently. I haven't said this. I think that it has to always be explained that manifesto is supposed to be, statements of a party's intent. And then, as you rightly indicated, much of the things that we would see as political parties to Ghanaians as a way of convincing them to buy into our agenda of nation building has partly been said or fully been said. For the Convention People's Party, I can say that our manifesto will be out in no small time. And then probably the delay in our manifesto can be explained this way. Previously, there has been an assumption, which I can say most of the political parties in the country are guilty of, where when it comes to purposes of manifesto writing, a group of experts will just sit in Accra and assume certain things for the masses of the people. But this year around, the Convention People's Party has taken a completely new approach to our manifesto. That is why we have rightly described our manifesto as People's Interactive Manifesto. Right. And by People's Interactive Manifesto, what we mean is that we have traveled the length and breadth of the country, interacting with the people and taking their views so that will make it the trust of our manifesto. And then I think that for the first time in our history, we are coming out with a manifesto that is going to deal with the problems of the people in a way as a problem appears. So, for example, we have not assumed problems for the people. We have undertaken an effective needs assessment, and that has actually been the strategy. This time round, our manifesto is not going to be a top-down, it's a bottom-up kind of approach, explaining why there's been some significant delay. We have traveled around the country, we have actually met with groups, we have met with communities, we have interacted with them. What are the things that you want the NDC and the MPP to do that they are not doing? Right. And the people have brought up a number of ideas, and Bright, you'll be shocked. Some of the ideas you'll be shocked, and that is why I'm even particularly happy about the fact that if you get to interact directly with the people, you are able to do projects that will stand the test of time. But where you sit in Accra and assume problems for people, you go and put projects, the projects will be there, and then they will disregard the project.
So that is why the delay.
So for the Convention People's Party, it took us time because traveling around the country and collating the views of Ghanaians is quite an uphill task. And then we are done, and our manifesto will be launched in no small time. I think that all the things that has to be done, we have actually, we are through with them. Our experts have also looked at it after the views that we have taken, and they have put it within its proper context. And I'm very positive that in no small time, our manifesto will be out. And we are promising Ghanaians that our manifesto is going to be a silver bullet to their problem. We actually have tackled, the key, problems in our country. So, for example, you would notice that some civil society organizations and research institutions have conducted a number of research wanting to know the key or critical issues that Ghanaians would likely vote on. unbeknown to the Convention People's Party, in our interaction, we were also able to establish this. So when we heard that Imani and then IEA and other institutions, brought up research findings, it resonated and coincided with what we have already. So we are very positive that for the first time, we are going to bring a manifesto which would address the people's problem in the best interest of the people.
Ralph, I'm grateful. Mr. Titus Glover, some have suggested that this situation is not too good for Ghana's democracy. 3 months to elections, some parties have no manifestos.
Thank you very much. Right. And, excuse me. Good morning to all your viewers, especially in Tema East. There's a saying in our language that when the old man is in the bathroom bathing and she delays in coming out, the understanding is that she is preparing herself very well to come out of the bathroom. I concede that some Ghanaians have expressed interest, i.e. NGOs and some civil society organizations, that we in the major political parties have not been able to come out with our manifesto and all that, and the fact that they want to see whatever we want to do. I can assure them that better late than never. We will definitely come out with our manifesto. They are fine-tuning all the bits and pieces together in all the sectors that, God willing, when Ghanaians give us the mandate, we'll come to deal with. But alongside, you could see that once in a while, our flag bearer and his running mate, once in a while, comes out with few of these areas in the manifesto. I recall when it was in the Western region, one major issue is about the development in the Western region. And we all know that the Western region is really the natural resource hub of our country. All the resources, talk about the minerals, the oil, the cocoa, and whatever. But when you look at the way the region is done, particularly for the northern parts of the Western region, that is why he said that, look, the Constitution allows us to create a new region. You recall former President Rawlings when he carved the Upper West from the Upper East region. And a lot of development have gone over the place from his time to now. So carving the current Western region into a region of Western North region is also ideal, so that we'll be able to bring development right to the doorstep of the people. Aside that, you look at cocoa production. The Western region is leading when it comes to cocoa production in this country. And there's a lot that need to be done to really revamp these cocoa sectors and all that. Then also, some factories in the cocoa industry that has really gone down. We need to reactivate and all that. The private sector, we always say, is the vehicle, is the engine of growth. But the private sector is suffocating. When you look at the management typology economically of this country, the private sector is not doing well. Why do I say this? Because government is still competing with this private sector in the sourcing of loans in our local banks, the cost of doing businesses. You look at tariffs that these private sectors are also paying. It's also affected us. So he's saying that, look, I want to make sure that the private sector will be given that support that they need. Aside that, when he moved up north, and he has been one of the attacks from our colleagues from the other side that is over-promising for that matter, it is critical in agriculture. This is the mainstay of this country. 60% of the people of this country can be found in agriculture employment. Today, the old men and women are aging. Agriculture is not being attractive for we, the youth, to go into that profession. And for that matter, what do? Last year, agric was 0.4% contribution to GDP. When the Minister of Finance came to the chamber, this year, it has come to 2.5%. It means that government had not been so serious in the tackling of the challenges that is the agriculture sector. When you go to the Maputo Convention, when presidents in Africa met years ago, they agreed, they resolved that 10% of their budget must be spent in agriculture. And here, they are spending less than 1.1, 1.2%. And even that, it is the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Fishery and Agriculture that jointly benefit from this 1.2, 1.1%, which is seriously woefully inadequate. So this is what we're looking at. Then came the issue of the dam construction. Throughout the year, when you go up north, out of the 12 months, they only have 3 months of rainfall. This is my brother from the north. 9 months has been throughout the sun. How do we bring some water levels, to make sure we create these dams that our farmers will have the opportunity? Of course, not only dam that really support agriculture. We have other things like tractors, like fertilizers, like agriculture extension officers, and all that. But you realize that because we have over-dependent on rainfed, with the 9 months absence of rains, it makes the food production quite difficult and so Herculean. So I think that yes, the manifesto is very important. It gives us what we wanted to do as a political party should we come to office. So I want to assure them we are still working on it. My colleagues, I heard the Ketia saying that they don't copy from losers. When I was coming on Joint News, it's the same question was posed on it because NDC has not been able to come up with their manifesto, and they said they don't copy from losers. But you recall the Northern Development Fund that Akufo-Addo came that idea with, the concept that he came up with. Because you don't own that concept, if you decide to plagiarize it, you fall into problems. And that is why the Savannah Accelerated Development has been a vehicle of development.
So you already ruled that it was plagiarized. That's
of course.
Oh.
They only changed the title.
I see.
To include certain parts of the country to make, but the concept and idea is making about the Northern.
Titus, I'm grateful. So at least for you, the point that your flag bearer is releasing bits and pieces of the manifesto. We're grateful. Let me go to Honorable Kobie Champon. Perhaps is it not because there's no law specifically asking parties to release manifesto within a certain time frame? That is why perhaps the voters don't have the manifestos of some parties.
Well, first let me say a good morning to our cherished viewers and good morning to the people of Cape Coast North. To answer your question, let's do a little backdrop. In our political dispensation, we've always used manifestos to basically inform the population of what we intend to do. And I always see manifestos as the last line of a major communication approach that parties employ. Because normally, you will talk about what you've done in the past if you have been in government before. And then you come to talk about what you want to do. So that is the last line. We in the NDC have had our manifesto done since June.
2016.
Yes, it was done since June. The reason why it hasn't been launched is that we follow a normal path in terms of campaigning. We first launched our campaign, which we did in Cape Coast. It was to be followed by the manifesto launch. But due to programming shifts with the president, we had to postpone the 2-week period. And now it has been firmly fixed for the 17th
of September.
So we are looking forward to launching the manifesto on the 17th of September. Now, what is going to be contained in our manifesto? It is a program of intentions, but it is a program of intentions that is carrying over from what we have accomplished in the last 4 years. We have engaged in massive infrastructural development. We've done so much and we want to continue it. Listen, from 2017 to 2020, we believe strongly the economy would expand by almost between 8 to 10 billion US dollars. And therefore our manifesto is taking consideration of those developments and putting in place the kind of things that will enable us to achieve those things. So for us, this manifesto game as to who has what is a non-starter. What is fundamentally possible for us is that the manifesto is ready and will be launched on September 17th. The president will begin to speak about certain salient features of the manifesto as he goes on the campaign trail. And therefore, my appeal to the public is that they should exercise a little patience. Between now and the 17th, it's not too far off. They will see a full-fledged NDC manifesto that takes into consideration the plans that the National Development Planning Commission have envisaged for the country, that takes into consideration the sustainable development goals, that takes into consideration the economic paradigms that we think are going to be needed between 2017 and 2020. And these are the things that will be clearly spelled out when we launch our manifesto. So it's not that we just deliberately decided not to launch the manifesto. And we don't copy from losers, like Asiedun Ketia said. We don't do that. We don't have that time. We've been in government. We know what we are doing. We know what we can achieve with what we want to do. And therefore, we don't need to spend time copying from others.
And so if you think that if you give voters some 3 months to read, is that enough for you?
Of course, 3 months might necessarily not be enough for some people who want to do an in-depth critique of a manifesto. But generally, 3 months, 90 days is a long time for people to get the salient points in the manifesto that will be launched on September 17th.
I'm grateful. Ralph, a quick reaction there. So for the two parties that you're seeking to contest, so the one in government and then your other opposition member, they claim that September 17, Mr. Kobi Chambo has confirmed for the NDC. Titus is suggesting that the NPP's own will come, and you have also agreed that yours is coming soon. And I put that question to him: the 3 months that will allow voters the chance to go through, is that enough?
Well, I think that it depends. For some people, definitely it's going to be enough for them. And for some people, they will need time to meticulously, study the document. But even beyond that, it has to also be explained that it appears that we have a certain kind of political system in this country where most people are likely to vote not because of your manifesto. We have people who vote on primordial considerations. People who just vote because let's for example, I'm a northerner. So the president is a northerner, I'm going to vote for the president. There are people like that. There are people who say that because I'm Akan, I'm going to vote for a party that is most likely to promote an Akan agenda. And there are people who vote on the issues that have been, argued out. And I think that as we move forward as a people, we've got to reach a stage where people would vote on the basis of the strength of argument that is being put forward by the political parties. And you will notice that the Convention People's Party, since our inception, we have always appeared national, and we have always made arguments which are national. We've made arguments which are time-tested and then scientific. And we actually enjoined and entreat the people of Ghana to vote on the basis of not just the manifesto, but also the sincerity. You see, there is difference between the message and the messenger. So, for example, if you have a good message and the messenger himself has credibility issues, has problems, concerning his or her character, which is doubtful, there's going to be a problem. So in this particular election, we have argued that yes, the message and the manifesto is important, but also the messenger must be examined. And then Green Street has always said that we offer truth, we offer sincerity, and we offer honesty. And we have always said that there is yet to be a development which will be more important than a development which is done in the best interest of all the people. And that is what the Convention People's Party represents. So yes, manifesto is good, but also the character and the moral composition of those, behind the manifesto is equally important.
I'm grateful. Tata, let me pick your views on this, and then we'll wrap up on this particular one. 3 months to allow voters to go through your intentions. You think is good enough?
When you look at this time frame, seriously and sincerely, people who are really interested in this manifesto would be basically people in academia. They wanted to do a lot of study as to whether what we, the political parties, are bringing on board is really what we can do.
Should that be the case? Only academia
You see, majority of our people have no time to go into the books called manifesto. People want jobs. They don't have jobs. Okay? The youth have finished school. They are roaming the street of Tema East. They come to my office with applications. MP, what are you doing to support us to get jobs? The jobs are not there. The tariffs we are paying on utilities are so dear, so exorbitant. They can't afford it. What is your government going to do about it? And another said, those taxes that are there is something critically I want to look at. You go to Tema Industrial Hub, then the manufacturing sector is dying. The manufacturing is dying. What are you going to do? Corruption, that has become a profession in this country. People are caught in corruption and they are treated with kid gloves. With finesse. No. What is this? So why are you going to tackle it? And he said, look, Adoku Father is saying that God willing, when I come, the first thing I need to do is to set up an independent prosecutor to delink it from the Attorney General's office so that we can deal with that independently in fighting corruption. Do you understand? So clearly, when you ask me 3 months, in terms of academia, lecturers, professors, doctors, somebody can sit down today, pick a whole manifesto, within seconds, a minute, he can gloss through them. And he can tell you what his mind is made up. So 3 months is quite a lot. It's quite a lot of people who wanted to know how serious these manifestos are can easily pick up from that. I can tell you, it's academia, civil society organizations who are really bent on seriously to see the manifesto. But the majority of our people, you come to my place, people, hustlers, they are going to the port to go and hustle. To have food to eat this morning, they don't really have.
Okay.
He wants
they
to go
don't
and
care
read
about manifestos. Okay. Right. Okay, could be a quick one there.
Yes, that's why I disagree with Titus. I mean, the manifesto will be examined by all and sundry. Let's recall 2012 elections when the NPP promised free SHS. Was that a manifesto agenda? Yes.
It was.
Didn't we hear everybody or most people
shouting? You parents,
exactly. They put up political ads on TV which clamored for Kaya Ye everybody to go to free SHS. So if you tell me that it will only be pursued by people in academia and NGOs, I have a fundamental difficulty with that. Everybody knows what they benefit from the manifesto. Every Ghanaian. In our construction of 123 senior high schools, we are meeting the needs of every Ghanaian in the communities in which those schools are sited. So to say it's only academia and civil society groups that will benefit, we believe in the NDC that our manifesto will meet the needs of every Ghanaian and not a section of Ghanaians. We want to make that very clear. It will meet because every program that we put in place will have the impact on a certain group of people. And that is what the manifesto is supposed to do. The manifesto is not for a group of people versus others. It is for all Ghanaians to benefit from.
Let me clarify this quickly. I'm not saying that manifestos generally are not in the interest of our people. Your question was, in terms of the time, do we think that it is feasible, it is appropriate? And I'm saying that
allow the voter down there enough time
because
to peruse
automatically, when the manifestos are implemented, it is for the general good of the populace. You understand? So I'm not differing from what Kobe is saying. Your question was that, do I think that the 3 months left, it is good that this manifesto should be kept in the dark without bringing it out? And that's what I was trying to explain. But every manifesto, at the end of the day, if it is operational, it is the people who benefit.
I'm grateful, Ralph.
But just to also add to this bit, you know, it is an objective reality in Ghana that majority of our people do not vote on manifesto. This is an objective reality.
They don't read or they don't vote.
They don't really actually read. They don't care about the argument that you have even put. Because, for example, I have seen, civil societies argue over the period that in terms of social policies, the Convention People's Party has always presented very social policies. The Ghanaians have actually not voted for the Convention People's Party in a manner that they should, if it is true that we have presented best social policies. So it is an objective reality in Ghana that majority of the people, they have their minds made up For example, if somebody has made up his mind that he's coming to vote for Ivor Kobna Green State, and you think you bring CPP manifesto and point weaknesses in it, you think that it is strong enough to dissuade that person from voting for the convention?
That is what you think.
Well,
that will not dissuade the person.
Yeah, because that is likely, the argument. Because truly speaking, for example, just look at the MPP and the NDC. Me, I know people. I have friends who are staunch NDC. And then we have had arguments, and then I'll point weaknesses in NDC promises, and even sometimes their policies. And that, my friend, very intelligent guy, he will say, yeah, that is very true. But it is not enough to make him not vote for NDC.
I see.
Or the MPP. So it is an objective reality that, yes, manifesto is good. But majority of our people do not vote on manifesto. If they were to vote on manifesto and the kind of arguments that have been made, I believe the Convention People's Party should win every election in this country.
I'm grateful for that.